My first thought was obviously this is a targeted approach. So it makes me obviously wondering the implication for the specific communities that are being targeted.
There is concerns Canada's renewed COVID-19 restrictions on flights from China will fuel anti-Asian hate. Hate crimes against Asian Canadians have been on the rise since the start of the pandemic. Stats Canada in July 2020 released a report that found Asian Canadians face the largest amount of harassment or attacks based on race, ethnicity, or skin color. Those numbers have decreased, but advocates are once again sounding the alarm after the federal government implemented a temporary measure that will require travelers arriving from China, Hong Kong, or Macau to provide evidence of a negative test before their departure.
When it comes to COVID or other transmitted diseases, Asians population, for example, has been long singled out as the disease carriers. It's been happening historically, it's been happening on an ongoing basis. So anything like this has implications to just get an excuse to single people out.
Many in the medical community also spoke out about these measures. Some on social media called it, quote, performative. Dr. Zain Chagla says that there are a few things that could go wrong with this approach and that it shouldn't be the end all to stopping the spread of variants.
There's a bunch of reasons. So, number one, this plan is to test people prior to coming to Canada. So, 48 hours beforehand, they have to have a test. It doesn't mean they can't be incubating on the plane. There's issues with fraudulent test results. The bare minimum is a rapid antigen test done 48 hours or less prior to that flight, which we know has pretty low sensitivity for someone that's completely asymptomatic. And so, there's a lot of things that can go wrong that really would mean that you're still importing travelers that have COVID anyways.
Fang also told CityNews that many in the Asian community have been traumatized by COVID-related racism and that the new temporary measure runs the risk of re-traumatizing communities and making people worried about being attacked again. The Canadian government says this mandate will be in place for 30 days before it is reassessed. The new temporary mandate applies to travelers 2 years of age and older, regardless of nationality or vaccination status. In Toronto, I'm Brandon Rowe for City News.